Slammiversary is in the air. Heat wave is straight ahead. But before we get there, we got to talk about tonight's NXT. I'm OLED. This is Jasper. We'll be with you right after the intro.
I am in misery. Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones, I'm losing it all. Stuck in my head, I am in misery. Deep inside myself, all I get, my only family. Stuck in the grave, can someone rescue me? I'm burning alive, I got it, I am in
Hello, everyone, again, and welcome to Taking Over. I am, of course, OLED Ed Fries. This is my tag team partner, the wonderful Astrid Pizarro. Astrid, how you doing? It's been an interesting weekend in the wrestling world, I think.
Busy weekend, that's how it was. How are you doing?
Busy. Well, I've got some thoughts and I've got some opinions. Because it was indeed a noteworthy weekend in the world of professional wrestling. So let's start with something slightly different. It's not quite Monty Python, not something completely different. We've got the OLED editorial, which is now coming in. This is replacing Rants with Ed, which we all know and love. And we're going to start with the OLED editorial of TNA Slammiversary. Because we've talked for a while here about how good this partnership is for both sides. TNA is gaining a lot out of this. WWE had been gaining a lot out of this. We talked about the fact that both of us agreed Mike Santana needed to win the TNA championship at Slammiversary. However, we'll get to that later, Bobby. However, not only did Mike Santana not win the TNA World Championship in front of his hometown crowd, in front of the biggest show that TNA has put on in, I believe, the last decade to 15 years. I know Trick said it was the biggest show they've ever done.
Was that
the biggest crowd they've ever had?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I knew it was close, but I'm like, I remember there were numbers coming in. It was like, it was close. It was like, it's the biggest show in 10 years, things like that. All right. I understand TNA wants a TV deal. I understand TNA needs a TV deal that isn't their own network. All of these things I understand and agree with. However, this should have been the show that started the TNA brand for those advertisers, for those network executives. And that means it should have been Mike Santana taking back the TNA World Heavyweight Championship from Trick Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Where does this leave TNA going forward is my more important question. It doesn't hurt Mike Santana. It certainly doesn't hurt Joe Hendry. And it doesn't hurt or help Trick Williams. I don't know how much it benefits Trick Williams, but I don't think it hurts him in any way. But my question is, where does TNA go from here? Because I saw a quote today from a podcast that Carlos Silva did. Thank you to Fightful for getting the quotes from this interview, where he was asked about the results of the main event. And in part of his response, he says, and I quote, "The fans are talking, so it's a good thing because they care about this and they care about us." No, Carlos, this is where everything else you've done is different. When the wrestling internet community is talking and they're all collectively telling us that you fucked up, that doesn't mean we care about what you're doing. you could have potentially vastly hurt TNA's long-standing growth that you've been building last night with one result. Because it didn't matter about what the racists did on the show. It didn't matter that Jacy Jayne won your TNA Women's Championship. And trust me, we'll get to that in a moment. What this does and why this hurts TNA so severely is, where do they go from here? Mike Santana is your savior. Mike Santana is your guy. This is the guy that you want to build your promotion around. He needed to win that title on your biggest show. And yes, I understand that your biggest show is Bound for Glory. However, Bound for Glory is not taking place in front of 7,000 people. Bound for Glory is not taking place in New York. Well, Long Island, but might as well be New York. And more importantly than anything else, the TNA faithful that know that TNA is going to TNA. And that's a phrase, knowing that TNA is going to make the worst possible decision among any decision they possibly have. They did it again. And I said this on when we were talking about it last week, and I've said it a couple times going into this weekend, that I was worried TNA was going to TNA. And they did. It doesn't matter the leadership group. It doesn't matter who owns it. TNA will always TNA. I want TNA to succeed. I'm not Eric Bischoff sitting here saying in a year's time they're going to be the number 2 wrestling company in the year, if in the country, if they get a good TV deal. But I want there to be 3 big promotions that talents can go to. I want there to be more great places for people on the independents to work if they're not able to work in the WWE ID program, if they're not able to get signed by AEW, then I want them to be able to work in TNA. But if you destroy the fan base like you potentially did last night or 2 nights ago, you have the risk of destroying what you've built. Maybe the reason is that TKO is going to fully purchase them. But even if that's the case, this doesn't do TNA any favors in the short term. In the long term, if TKO is buying them, it doesn't matter what happens. And look, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying that this is the end of TNA, because Lord knows we've all thought there was the end of TNA before. They were about to do a pay-per-view, and they were about to cancel it because they couldn't pay the talent to show up to a pay-per-view that they had built for. Like, TNA's been in worse spots than this. TNA will be fine. But this was TNA's chance to get themselves and to make the NXT TNA partnership work. I'm worried about the TNA side of the NXT TNA partnership for the first time now. Because not only is one of your championships within the WWE, which is fine. Trick winning the title is fine. In the grand scheme of things, regardless of what I'm going to say in 3 minutes, Jacy Jayne winning the TNA Knockouts Championship is fine. Both of these titles being in WWE is not fine. And if TNA doesn't invade Lowell at Heatwave and try to, 1, take back their shit, and 2, cause hell for NXT, what are we doing? What's the end game? Because as of right now, there is no end game. Yes, TNA will always come back. You say it, and that's a great reference, especially for Astrid. For me, I always call them, they're the little wrestling promotion that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. They have gone from a regional territory running weekly pay-per-views for $10 to the number 2 wrestling company in the world, all the way back to something that nobody even realized was still operating, to trying to go head-to-head with WWE when they brought in Hogan and Bischoff, to being owned by Billy Pumpkins, to being Global Force Championship Wrestling. I don't know if everybody remembers those days, but TNA will not die. TNA is going to be okay. But for the love of God, I need there to be a fucking end game for this that makes TNA look good. Because we've just entered AEW TNA partnership territory. This might as well be as bad as that partnership was. It's okay for one of your titles to not be in your own company, but you can't have both of them. Technically, yes, he didn't technically own the company, but they had to pay him a lot of money because they told him he did. So let's just go with it. To Jacy Jayne. Oh boy. Jacy Jayne is the TNA Knockouts champion. And honestly, it's fine. I don't like it. It makes me drink. Because, as she said in her promo, and we'll dive more into this later, this makes her the cornerstone of women's professional wrestling by owning these two championships. Now, granted, she's not the most crowned women's champion of all. That will be another lady in AEW. And she's doing fine with her 50 titles, and that's great for her. But as far as WWE audiences are concerned, the greatest women's wrestler in the world right now is Jacy Jayne. And that is a fucking shame. Because her promo tonight was awful. The fact that she defeated Masha the way she did, without interference, it's semi-clean, is kind of ridiculous. And again, it would be a fine decision if Trick weren't still holding the championship. She is still the most beatable champion in professional wrestling because she's still the worst woman to be holding a championship in WWE, at least for another week or two until we get to SummerSlam and we get to Jade Cargill defeating Tiffany Stratton. But I cannot believe that for all the good things that TNA Slammiversary did, crowning Leon Slater, bringing back AJ Styles, having a really good show from top to bottom, I don't understand what or why they're doing what they're doing. And it's a goddamn shame because TNA is a great product. And I'm going to try my ass off to be at Slammiversary, whether it's as a fan in Lowell, Massachusetts, in the front row, or it's going to be as a member of the media, hopefully being able to ask some questions to some people about the things that are going on. One of the two things, because I love TNA. I don't watch it a whole ton. I don't cover it. But I've always loved TNA. Why? Because TNA does all the crazy shit you can't do on normal wrestling. And if you want to know just a little bit about what you can't do on normal wrestling, look at the Asylum years of the weekly pay-per-views on TNA, because that was some crazy shit. Or just look at anything in the Rosemary Bunny storyline. Johnny Swinger got shot during his marriage to Rosemary on television before the pandemic.
Don't forget that Mickey got run over too.
Mickie James got pushed onto a train tracks and almost got hit by a train from James Storm. Yes, the litany list is out there. And again, I apologize if we've put up your comment and I haven't talked about it. I've been trying to go, Eric Young died. Yes, TNA does all the things that you can't do in professional wrestling.
He died and came back to life.
Twice. I mean, Allie died, but Allie will die a couple times. I mean, there's just TNA is so good. But come on, TNA. You got to get your shit together here. And I apologize for wasting the first 15 minutes on this. I apologize. This has been your OLED editorial. Obviously, these are all my own thoughts and opinions. They do not represent the thoughts and opinions of our local establishment or my wonderful co-host. Please don't blame her for any stupid shit that comes out of this mouth.
Come on, let's give Ed a round of applause, everybody. Let's put some clap emojis in the chat for Ed and his, his rant.
We never. Yes, and you can, as always, tweet your complaints to at Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
Because fuck the Hulk Hogan.
Always.
Sorry about that, Ashley. Sorry about that, Ashley. I did have to say this. Everybody dies once in TNA.
Yeah, let's do some round of applause for Edward Fries and his rant.
I don't think I said anything too offensive, right?
No, you're fine for now.
For now. For now. She worries about what comes later.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I appreciate it. Like I said, it's just, this needed to be a long rant. That was a level-headed take? Good God. What have the rest of the takes been on the internet then if that's level-headed?
I mean, usually I feel like you get more agitated when you're talking. You didn't this time.
I toned that down about 5 levels from what I want. Well, yeah, I've seen Joel, and honestly, I agree with Joel because Joel Pearl, and more things. Joel Pearl is the reason I found that Carlos Silva tweet. That Carlos Silva thing is because Joel Pearl tweeted about it. And I'm like, good God, Carlos Silva can't be that stupid. Oh God, Carlos Silva is that stupid.
My Puerto Rican brother, it's a little bit too out there, unfortunately. Wait, I can't hear you. I don't know what happened.
For everybody saying that Mike Santana lost in front of a bunch of Boricuas, and now he's going to win in front of a bunch of white people in Boston. You do need to remember that Lowell, Massachusetts is one of the most diverse cities in Massachusetts. It has a large Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban percentage. It also has a large Asian percentage with the Vietnamese, the Laotians, the Taiwanese, Chinese, and Japanese. It is a very diverse city. It will not be an arena full of white people. There will be people of color in this crowd for hopefully when Mike Santana wins that title. God forbid they don't put it on him there. We will probably riot.
Oh yeah, it just the part that I hated the most. It just reminded me of what it was for Joe Hendry, because for Joe Hendry took 3 tries for him to become champion, and they had opportunities to give it to him and they didn't. And I understand that they could do it in Lowell, but come on, you're in the guy's home state with a lot of people with Puerto Rican flags. Everybody cheering on and watching the show because they have a feeling he's gonna win, and then he doesn't. Like, and that's the biggest crowd you had. That would have been a great moment to end the show with. And I feel in that part, that's why this is one of the few instances where I would say I don't have to be patient, because I feel like we've been patient enough already with TNA as it is. And they did it with Joe Hendry, so I was hoping they wouldn't repeat history. Patrick, stop. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, NXT is running Lowell in August, and then TNA is running the other arena in Lowell, the bigger arena in Lowell, like a month and a half later.
For me tonight, it should have been some kind of invasion angle. That's what I keep hoping would happen. That everybody from TNA is so upset that their 2 world titles are in NXT, that they will all go together and team up and beat up the guy that has the world title. Something along those lines of like, we're tired of you representing our company when you don't even belong in our company. It's like that, or like, she doesn't even go here kind of quote. Basically, it's what I was hoping for. And tonight wasn't it.
Yeah. Like I said, this isn't the end. Like I said, TNA is not buried. TNA is not done. But this is a bad sign going forward. Because, and honestly, I don't even think this is an NXT thing. That's the funny thing. You would normally think something like this is an NXT directive, that they want all the gold in their talent. I don't think that's the case. I don't think they care if Trick is champion. I think they want Trick as the TNA champion, but I don't exactly. I think I believe it's, I wouldn't say it's 100%, but I say it's probably way more 75-25 than it is 100 than it is 50-50 on that one. I don't think WWE's pulling a lot of these strings.
No, I don't think so.
But again, let's hope that TNA pulls their head out of their ass. Let's hope they get this shit done right. Because Mike Santana winning this title isn't Cody Rhodes dethroning the Bloodline. The reason why TNA, the Cody Rhodes story worked is because all the fans were invested in Cody and everybody was invested in the Bloodline story. Nobody gives a shit about Trick being TNA World Champion. So it doesn't correlate backwards. That's a degradation. I mean, they might.
No.
And again, I'm not one to yuck somebody else's yum. So if that's their thing, then good for them. I'm happy for you. But like, just no.
You can say that for OLE After Dark. We're not there yet, okay?
We are not there yet. Yeah.
Still a little bit too early.
All right. We're going to start now after 20 plus minutes of the show. We're going to start with the opening match on the card. Because we're not going to talk about Booker's stupid promo because he screwed up a woman's name. And yeah, normally I would get on Booker for that. However, he's in Houston and he said the name of one of his own talents as opposed to saying the name Blake Monroe. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's Booker T. Booker will be Booker.
Shout out to Lady Bird.
Yes, shout out to Lady Bird, great friend, tag team partner to our good friend Gigi Ray, who we adore on this show. Yes, we're not having any double dickings, and if you don't know what that is, go watch the short promoting the show tonight on Twitter.
No. I will not say those words again.
The Culling defeats Hank Tank and Zaria. Ruca. After it, I've talked for 20 minutes. What did you think of this match?
I mean, I think it was just a funny way to open the show, at least with some fun energy. I like everybody doing a honk honk in every corner. Like, that was funny. The scoop slam, how they all lined up to do the scoop slam to everybody at that point as well. And Niko getting the meeting of the minds from everybody too at one point. I like the fact that they were just basically having fun. So, yes. I like that they were just basically having fun with this too. I love the fact that Zaria also... she did an F5 to Shawn Spears at one point because she was about to do it to Tatum, but he saved her. And he ended up doing it, taking it in the end. I was like, oh, that was interesting. And they're like, can she do that? Can she do that? Like, well, she did. But overall, I feel like it was a lot of fun. Then we get that all of a sudden towards basically at the ending of it, Dark State comes out. The lines turn off. And they don't show much. They don't show anything about it. But then we have Tatum just pinning Zaria at the end. Like, they didn't show what she did to her, but they had to do something with the doll that Shawn Spears gave her a few minutes before that.
Zaria said that she stabbed her in the eye with the doll.
Yeah, but we didn't get to see any of that because they brought the attention to Dark State.
To be fair, this one wasn't me. This one was her. It's just. To be honest, I'll take all the mystery out of it. She said double DQ. The software that we have for the captions saw it as double dicking, and that's what the joke is now. But yeah, no.
And the Overlord decided to keep it there anyway.
Not only to keep it there, but then use it to promote the show today.
Overlord, what are you doing to me?
I will take this on as an Oldheadism because it would absolutely be something that should have come out of my mouth.
It would have.
The Ogre Lord didn't double check his work. The Ogre Lord knew that was the way it was when we told him about it earlier in the week when he put out the short, and then he still used it to promote the show
because it made him laugh.
I thought this match was great. I agree with you. I thought it was a bunch of fun. I thought everybody got their shit in. I thought this was a really good match. And I love that it's continuing on the storylines. It's continuing the storyline that Dark State were the ones who attacked Hank Tank. It's continuing the Culling versus Hank Tank. It's continuing the Zaruca versus Tatum and Izzi stuff. This is a wonderful way to contribute all your stories all into one and make sure that everybody gets over and everybody does their stuff. This was great. I really did. I enjoyed a lot of this.
He enjoyed Hank and Tank match. Bobby, you gotta clip that. I'm sorry.
Yes, but I also had 6 other people in this match that I can enjoy other than Hank Tank. So let's be honest. It is fine.
I didn't recall them
No,
mentioning the system either, which is
not
another
one.
thing that bothered me from this. It just the recaps that we got that I remember was the JC one and the trick one. I don't think we saw anything else.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing NXT cares about. Because again, NXT doesn't care about what their superstars do in TNA unless they're winning championships. But again, I don't think they're pushing it.
Hmm.
And that's a very odd thing because that's a very WWE thing to do is to push the fact that our people need to be champions. Yes, it'll minus views if we have a hang time. Speaking of Jacy Jayne, we got the recap of her victory and then her promo. I hated this. I hated every bit of this. Okay. I hated most of this. I hated everything that involved Jacy Jayne and Fatal Influence in the ring. Jacy talks about how this makes her the top of the women's division. She talks about how this makes her the pinnacle of women's wrestling in the world in WWE, which is sadly true, which is an awful segment that I need more alcohol for. And then she says, but I did it all on my own. Mm-hmm. And I went, bitch, please. Like, who the fuck do you think you... She even references that she was the third wheel in her faction. And I'm like, bitch, you are still the third wheel in that faction. Like, she tweeted out that she's the greatest member of Toxic Attraction. I'm like, Mandy Rose was champion for over a fucking year. And Gigi Dolan, even released, is still a better talent and worker than you are. I'm sure that will be clipped. I'm sure we can get it in all the channels for whatever shows might need it. Jacy is a fine professional wrestler. She does the actual wrestling very well. But she's not a compelling character. She's not a good leader of this group. And more importantly, she claims that she's the leader of this group and she did it all on her own. And then literally 5 minutes later, she tells the girls who she leads to attack, and they're like, I don't think so. The best part of this is when Lash Legend came out to save this godforsaken segment.
Bobby, clip that.
Lash came out and saved the segment. She came out and talked about how great it is that Jacy's doing all the things she's doing. But now the grown-ups are here to talk, and the grown-ups are here, and she's going to take that NXT Women's Championship. And I'm like, thank you. Somebody take this goddamn title off of Jacy Jayne. And then Jayne came out and ruined it all over again. I agree, Jose. We were getting there. Yes. Then Jayne came out and ruined it. My haterade is right here, and it's been a flowing. I even have the extra haterade.
That one.
No, I just don't. I have a question, and it's a legitimate question to you, Astrid. Do we think all of this stuff with the double champion in NXT and TNA was set up and designed for Stephanie Vaquer, and then Stephanie got called up, and they're like, well, fuck it. We'll just let whoever else becomes the champion do all the Stephanie Vaquer stuff, regardless of who it is. And they just forgot it was going to be Jacy Jayne.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. I mean, it could have been, and it would have definitely been different with Stephanie. Because imagine if Stephanie wouldn't have lost the North American one. She would have definitely had 3 belts then, too. And that would have been extra interesting. I mean, it's a possibility.
I'm just looking at it and going, like, all of these promos, I'm the greatest in the women's division. I'm leading this women's division. I'm like, doesn't this all sound like things that would have come out of La Primera? This is something that Stephanie would have been like, I'm the number one woman in this wrestling world landscape. I'm the number one. La Primera. Like, it just sounds like stuff that they were meant for her. Yeah, realistically, it should have been Jordan. Like, I agree. The only reason why I didn't want it to be Jordan was I didn't need to see another Masha Slammiversary versus Jordan Grace match.
Mm-hmm.
Jose, I agree. I would have been down for anybody but Jada and Jacy would have been good for this. But like, I don't know. There's a slight difference between that. Like the Emelina thing and the Liv Morgan thing and the Lana thing, that's all slightly different because Blake Monroe is just an extension of Mariah May in AEW. Like, it's not a huge stretch. There's some subtle differences. Like the whole I Dream of Jeannie kind of aesthetic is slightly different than what she was presenting in AEW. But overall, her character is essentially the same thing she was doing there. But I don't think that's anything drastically close to an Emelina thing, because I think Emelina and Live in the Bathtub was something slightly different. To me, the only title I fully... Yeah, that would make sense.
No, I was gonna say with the whole Blake Monroe thing, I think with her, it's one of those people like you have to give her time, because if you see her the way we saw her in AEW at first, she was more of a background character, and little by little with every single week is then we saw her shine a little bit more and show us a little bit more. And I think with that in NXT might be a little bit similar in that aspect of it, that we had to give her more time. She's barely been here, so we haven't even gone to see like a little bit of what she's like. Wait until she's like a full heel, and then hopefully it'll be, I don't want to say the same, because I don't think they want to copy exactly how it was, but it'll be kind of similar to how it was in AEW. But I was gonna say that with this particular promo though, and I figure we'll talk about this part now. When she's talking about Jacy says she's the top of the women's division. I did it by myself. Fallon has the microphone. She's about to like say something, but then she pulls it down again. But she has that like that body language of like, really? Are you really just saying that? And Jasmine looks at her the same way. And then she goes, oh, I'm not one of those like NIL like athletes. And then you can see Jasmine's facial expression changes. And he says little bits and pieces like, oh, I'm not an indie darling. I'm not this. I'm not that. I didn't get here because of this. And you can see how the body language changes in the girls. I like that Lash was the one that came out though, because I was trying to figure out who will come out. I know we have a list of people that could be next up, but we haven't really set up anything yet because of everything that happened Slammiversary so far. So I'm glad to see Lash coming out. Not a fan of Jada coming out. That's the only thing that I particularly didn't like about this. I thought at first with the way it ended that maybe they would have done a tag team match that would have had Jasmine and Fallon versus Jada and Lash. But then later on, they're all backstage trying to figure out who's going to take on who. And Michelle Buckle comes out. And then she's like, well, I think, and then Fallon goes, oh, yeah, I think I can beat Lash. I don't think Jasmine has that experience. Or like, I think I'm better than Jasmine or whatever it was that she said. And the back and forth they have with each other of like, I think I'm better than you. He's like, oh, I think you can beat her. I was like, okay, that's settled. Let's go to Ava's office. And the way that you can see is like, where's Ava's office? Opposite sides. And she's like, never mind, I'll figure it out for myself. The way this is unfolding here, even just tonight, was just, I don't even know what to call it, to be honest. It was one of those things like, they're really falling apart little by little. So that was very interesting to watch from the body language of like how they disagreed on everything, and the way that basically Jacy was throwing shots at them. The way she's like, oh, I did it by myself. They're like, what were you doing here to begin with then? But yeah, like exactly what I was thinking, really, the way she looked at her. But I thought that was pretty interesting overall with the whole promo here.
Yeah. I smell a triple threat title. It's very possible. Jose, our good friend Jose on the air, I have a hear me out scenario and it sounds chaotic as fuck. The Fatal Influence beat the Elegance brand for the tag team. Oh God, no. Do not give her the fucking... Before Ash's world title match, Ash wins the knockout title with an assistance from Blake. I can't have Jacy have 3 titles. I really can't. And after surgery, I really shouldn't be drinking this much. My body can't not process it the same way as it used to. Whew, it's hot in here.
Yeah, and Noob going to this, something tells me that Fallon's turning on Jacy at some point, whether it's on Heat Wave for the draft. It just, I wanted to be Fallon more than anything, because to me, Fallon's a better babyface than a heel. And at the same time, this whole time she even said it before, like she didn't want to be in a group, and then she got put in this group. And I want her to shine on her own at least for a while.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else wants Fallon Henley to shine, or else she would have shown by now. No. I mean, I did like backstage in WWE. Like, we've had all these opportunities to let Fallon. She was a North American Women's Champion, but we forget that because it meant nothing. Like,
oh, and then we get Jordan with Ava that she got banned from the building.
Yeah, she got banned from the building. That worked out real well for both Jordan, Ava, and Jordan again. Ricky Saints and Javon Evans. Javon Evans being the linchpin of this episode, writing in his notebook. So he is now writer man. We have Dion Lennox, reader man, and now Javon Evans is writer man. They talk about each other. Ricky hypes up Javon hypes up Ricky. They talk about taking on Jasper Troy. And then we get a Candy Crew promo when we come back from commercial break. I like this promo. This is great. Astrid said it on Twitter, and I'll say it again. Wren's gear, just kiss. Dallas Cowboys white and black gear. Thought it was great. It's Dallas Cowboy cheerleader gear. It's sensational. I thought it was great. I thought it looked great. The red, white, and blue kind of little towel to go with it. It was good. Fatal Influence doesn't do a whole we run the entire division thing before they split. I 100% see Fallon being the one to turn on Jacy, win the NXT title. Yeah, I could see that. God, can you imagine if she's the first fucking women's? Oh my god. They're gonna make the Javon Reederman comparison.
Yeah.
See, Millie, I got you, Millie. I got you. The Candy Crew's trying to hype her up. Miles shows up to hype up his good friend Wren Sinclair. Even though he's not in the Candy Crew anymore, he wants to hype her up. And Lexus is back there punching and kicking shit with his headphones on. And it took me way too long to figure out what he was doing. God, I hate that I didn't figure out that he was trying to figure out what it's like to be Miles with the fucking noise-canceling headphones. All right. Jasper Troy versus Ricky Saints, Astrid. What you got?
I wasn't a fan of this one, unfortunately. No, okay, I'm not a fan of Ricky losing again. That's the first thing. Why are we doing this to begin with? It's like I feel like his matches have all been following like a template so far, and then he's been losing twice or three times at this point in a row almost. It's like I feel like this one was a tough one because you do have somebody like Jasper who has lost twice as well, but then you have Ricky that just lost as well. It's like, why would you put it in this situation? I did like the part when he's like telling the referee to like count out Ricky. And then he's like, at one point, he's like, I'm tired of waiting, just splashed onto him. And I was like, poor Ricky, how is he alive still? And the fact that he made it on time.
I mean, he's alive because the move didn't put him through the barricade.
I know, but still.
They gimmicked it so that they could fall after the... The finish of this match is a fucking clusterfuck. Mm-hmm. There's no better way to put it. I don't understand. I like the idea of the finish. I don't like the execution of the finish. Mm-hmm. Is an easy reason for why they're pushing Jasper so much. They think that there's money in big, tall guys doing this thing. And you know what? I'm fine with it. I think Jasper Troy is great because I don't think he's going back to our main event scene. I think he's going right back into that North American title scene once we get a new North American title. This man is putting his body through absolute hell lately just to lose. You know, sometimes you got to put people over, especially if you're going to end up in Seth Rollins' new faction. Like, if he's going to be the new guy in Rollins' faction, which it seems like that's not going to be Ethan Page after what we saw tonight, then it makes sense that they're going to have him lose a bit before they give him something big.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I thought the match was good. Like I said, I thought there was a poorly executed finish with the way that the bottom of the ring ramp gave way. But I thought that the idea was cool. I thought Jasper diving on him the way he did looked great. And I think Jasper just getting back in. Mm-hmm. The only thing I would change about it, other than, showing us Jasper putting him through that specific spot on the ring thing, is I think Jasper should have dragged Ricky back to the ring and pinned him. I think not only does Ricky Sainz lose, I want him to lose worse because I want him to get pinned as opposed to being counted out. I think Ricky is untouchable, and I think Ricky just needs 2 or 3 wins and he's fine. But Jasper Troy is young, and he's getting pushed to the fucking moon. So I think, again, whether that's right or wrong, like Get the Table said, is there any reason? I can see what they see in him. I think he's interesting. I don't think he's as far along as I would like, but I can see why they want to push him. But if you're gonna push him, then you needed to have him win this match because he just lost 2 in a row, and you can't have him keep losing.
If it's also the way they want to promote the LFG show, to say, look, this guy went through our system and then through the show, and look at where he is now, sort of thing, and make us forget about Tyra and just use Jasper as like that template of like, look, he made it, and look at where he is, and look at what he's been doing since the show ended. That's the first thing I can think about compared to Tyra, because correct me if I'm wrong, the winner of the show was supposed to get a contract to NXT, right?
Yes, they both have an NXT contract. Yeah. But Tyra May Steele is doing Evolve things because Evolve is tied to NXT. And obviously they don't see her in the same light as they see Jasper Short. For whatever reason, they don't see it. And honestly, we could tell from the first matches that both of them had that it was a vastly different thing. And I agree. Ricky's going to do whatever Ricky needs to do. And by the way, like I said, I think Ricky can get back to the top with little effort. I don't think you need a lot to get Ricky back to the top. We'll see what happens when we get there. We get a Trick Williams segment here with the High Rise, where Trick Williams is saying that he's going to call out, the Undertaker. He's not going to let the Undertaker call him out. He's going to call out the Undertaker. And Javon's there, and he laughs, and Javon's like, I don't got time for this, youngin'. Youngin', I don't have time for you. I don't have time for your foolishness. And he walks away. And the High Rise has to go over to talk shit with Javon, and Javon's like, peace out. I got to watch this. And he leaves. And then we get a wonderful tribute. And we here at our local establishment, especially, obviously, Bobby Munson, because I think Bobby's probably the biggest our local establishment fan. We want to pass on our respects. Rest in peace to the Prince of Darkness, a music legend, a WWE as we saw in the video package WWE put in. He's been around WWE for years. He was at WrestleMania 2. He was part of the Rock and Wrestling Connection. He did an Aussie, basically he did America's Got Talent with the Osborne family during the guest host era of Raw. He's performed at WrestleMania as a musical guest before as well. He's an absolute legend. He had an amazing final show a couple weeks ago with his Parkinson's. And today he passed away among his family with love and the people who loved him. No better way to go out than to do that way. To have your family there with you, to be surrounded by people who you love and who love you. So our best to all the family of Ozzy Osbourne, to the fan base of Ozzy Osbourne. He is indeed one of a kind. Vic Joseph opened up the show tonight saying that we're all on a crazy train. It was a cute little tribute for a guy who you would forget has so much involvement in WWE. Like, I remember a couple of these things, but I had forgotten that he was at WrestleMania 2. I had forgotten the musical performance that he had done. I remember the guest host era when him and the whole Osborne family did their segment. I thought that was great. I'm one of the few people who liked the guest host era for WWE Raw. I thought there were a lot of fun things in there. But yes, I was listening to Sirius XM Ozzy's Boneyard today with Joe Manchin hosting. And he was in tears telling stories and taking... Yeah, I mean, Ozzy's been around forever, and he is one of the true legends in the business. So, to all his friends, to all his family, to all his fans, hopefully you guys can all deal with this in your own way. Our best to Ozzy Osbourne. We then... I was gonna I was gonna make a thing. We're just gonna go to Trick Williams versus the Undertaker because I had a really bad segue that I'm not going to do. I kind of loved and hated this Trick segment here. Trick calling himself the greatest TNA champion of all time. Astrid, as somebody who's watched as much TNA as you have, how do you think Jeff Jarrett feels about not being recognized as the greatest TNA champion of all time?
Double J. I mean, he's not on top of a lot of people's list, unfortunately. He's nice and all, but not on top of the list.
He is the greatest wrestler in TNA history. He won more TNA championships and titles in companies that are revolved around TNA than anybody else in TNA.
When you think of TNA, you think Samoa Joe, CD, Kaz, AJ. Jeff Jarrett's a little bit more down in the top 10 list.
With My Baby Tonight. He was a country music superstar with My Baby Tonight. Early TNA was founded on the back of Double J Jeff Jarrett. That man ran early day TNA. Both literally and figuratively. Yes, it was entirely because he was booking the territory himself. Yes, it was entirely that reason. Mm-hmm. But also, it also gets into what TNA is doing now. Jeff Jarrett was the biggest name that company had in those days. So him being the champion made sense because of the fact that they were looking to get a TV deal. So again, yes, it was because he was booking the territory himself. But he made guys... R-Truth would not be the R-Truth we have today if it weren't for the Ron Killings run in TNA. And if you've not seen the Ron Killings run in TNA, you're missing out because that's some good stuff. But no, I mean, obviously, your Samoa Joes, your Stings, your Bully Rays, those are your AJ Styles. Those are your TNA greatest of all time, world champions. But, I heard it and I was like, well, Double J, man, come on. You forget about Double J here, Trick. Taker comes out. He says that Trick has no respect. They go back and forth, back and forth. It's not a great promo. It's not one of the Undertaker's best, but it's certainly not any of his worst. Bully Ray, I mean, Again, the Aces and Eights storyline is near and dear to my heart. I love that storyline. That was such good shit.
I was there for that wedding.
It's so good. Everything about that is so fucking good. Oh, I love the Aces and Eights. Actually, me and you got to do a breakdown of the Aces and Eights storyline. Special episode. Me and you break down the Aces and Eights. Undertaker says it's only a matter of time before Trick loses the championship. They go back and forth. Trick swings, Taker chokeslams him. It's a good segment. It'll get Trick over in the long run. Yeah, I mean, people talk shit about Double J a lot, and for all the shady shit he's done in the wrestling business, he seems like a good dude. He really does. He seems like a good dude. I love Double J. I also grew up with Double J. Growing up watching professional wrestling, my favorite eras of professional wrestling include Double J as a main portion of it. So it is what it is. It was indeed the American Badass. It was indeed, and it's fine. Yes, we have somebody who will watch the Aces and Eights rundown. Yay! Did you have any thoughts on Trick versus Taker here in this promo battle?
This is one of those I would have done without, to be honest. I'm not the biggest Taker fan, and if you're going to use him for this, could have done better.
Now, remember, the last guy that Undertaker did a promo battle with and chokeslammed to hell is doing pretty well for himself. Because that guy is Braun Breaker. And look at him now. He's going to be taking on Roman Reigns and Jey Uso along with his Braun partner, Braun and Braun, taking on Roman and Jey Uso at SummerSlam. So good for them. I mean, it is what it is. Jeff Jarrett's now in the game. Really? He's reviving Acclaim? That's interesting. Good for him. Peggy will like the fact that he's reviving a game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised she's not here. I've talked shit about women. I expected her to be here by now. Every time I say something bad about women, Peggy happens to show up. So I expected her here.
That's true.
We get the Jacy, Jayne, Michelle McCool fatal influence thing that we talked about earlier. I do need an education here, Ashton. Jose, if he's still in the chat, can probably help with that. Jasmine says only a baddie can handle a baddie. Can you explain to me what the fuck this means? Because I don't understand what either of them mean because they're both heels. So what's going on?
How do I describe this? I might need Jose's assistance on here. I don't know how to describe it, to be honest. But
what is a baddie?
I mean, it's not like a baddie's not like it's not like a heel person. If that makes sense.
Okay, so it's not a wrestler.
Yeah, it's like a lot of like the baddies, what they call them, their Instagram baddie, which is like the girls that are posting all their like nice pictures on Instagram and making photo shoots on Instagram. That's a lot of them.
So Jasmine and Jada are models, not wrestlers.
Let's see. Let's see if we find a definition.
Will says he thinks that it means a bad bitch in looks. I mean, I guess I could buy that. Like I said, I kind of understand this, but it always makes fun to have Ashley try to explain to the old white guy.
I want to see the Google one compared to what you're thinking. It says a confident, stylish, and attractive woman. It can also be used to describe a villainous or criminal person. The modern usage often emphasizes attractiveness, confidence, and sense of style. So.
All right, so I get that for Jada. I get that for Jasmine. Then I don't understand this for Jada. Would you classify, based on that definition, would you classify Jada as a baddie?
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But to me, it's usually some of those girls that I have like the photo shoots on Instagram and they try to have like a carousel and they look good in all the pictures and everything like that. Like it's all set up to get likes and engagement somehow. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Blake Monroe. No. Just so we're clear, me and him is the head bitch in charge, not baddie in charge. Just so we're clear. I know you mod for her, and you're probably right. But I'm just saying, I remember the early days, that meant bitch. It did not mean baddie. WWE made her change that shit, if I remember correctly. Because in TNA, wasn't it head bitch in charge?
Yeah, usually she would say that.
That's what she said in TNA, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Again, I followed a lot of TNA. I didn't follow it all the time, week to week, but I generally followed most of what was going on.
Yeah, usually it was the HBSC. That's what I meant. So.
Yeah. I remember they changed it to baddie when she came to WWE, but I don't believe that's what she ever wanted it to mean.
Probably not, but.
Then again, the WWE loves to change the shit on Mia Yim because she wants to be Mia Yim and they made her meet it again. So.
I think that's a personal choice too, for some reason.
Mia's great. I love Mia. Don't get me wrong. This is not shade on Mia. I think Mia's great. I would give Mia a chance. I wish Mia would come back to NXT. I think she could do wonderful in this generation's NXT. I think she could teach a lot of these girls a lot of lessons. I think she could get a championship or two. I think there's a lot of things that we should do with Miss Mia Yim in NXT on a week-to-week basis.
Just put a title on Michin already. What are we waiting for? It's been way too long. I need a championship on her somehow.
It is a personal choice. Okay. That's good. Hey, I'm way more into when WWE lets people make personal choices about their names than just throwing shit on them. But let's be crazy. But let's not get crazy here because we all know WWE loves to change people's names for no fucking reason to names that they hate. Okay, it means crazy in Korean. That makes sense.
Thank you, Bobby, for the reference to I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, that shit bombed this weekend in the box office, didn't it?
No.
Yes. 14 million in the box office? Not good.
They already made what the budget was.
Yes, but it's still the worst performing movie on opening weekend in the history of the franchise. And that goes back to the best one is the Brandy one. The Brandy one.
No. Anyway, we're gonna continue on, and we're gonna go to Blake versus Wren. Okay.
I'm back. We are going to go to Blake versus Wren. This match went way quicker than I thought. It was a showcase match for Blake Monroe. I mean, the fact that I don't watch horror movies is another reason why I shouldn't be on Killer Cuts. But yeah, no. But I do know my box office, and I can give you the information later. I thought this was fine. This match was fine. It did nothing for Wren, but it wasn't supposed to do anything for Wren. It was supposed to be a showcase for Blake, and it did just that. She then gets on the microphone. Jordynne Grace comes through the crowd. They brawl for a bit. Security comes in. Jordynne Grace loses some money by bashing a bunch of security guards who most likely work for Booker T. I guarantee you, if I go through the video package of all these security guards, I guarantee you I'm going to see a shit ton of Reality of Wrestling superstars in that crowd.
Yeah, like yesterday, Alex Gracia was the doctor at ringside for Dominic. Go, Alex.
Dominic pulls all the women. Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan, Alex Garcia. There's all the people. I mean, and then Blake hits her with that. Now, Vic called it a butterfly. To me, this is a double arm DDT.
Yep.
Like, he called it a butterfly, and I don't know if that's just because that's something Blake wants to refer to it as. But I don't know. It looks fine. Like, I like the look of this. It looks good. It's a good finish.
The part I hated about this the most, like, I hated that it had to be Wren, because not only she could be on a roll right now and they could have done better with her, and you're in her home state, and to have her be in a squash match at this point, because that's what it was. I love what she did on I think it was a kick that she did towards like the middle rope at one point to Blake, but this is Blake's debut. She's not gonna lose.
After is frozen for me. I don't know if she's frozen for the rest of you.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah, Mike, it keeps going off for some reason.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Bobby says we have lost after. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I thought I had clicked out, so I was just sitting here and nodding and pretending like I was listening to Asher because I was like, I assumed it was my internet because my VPN was connected.
It's mine this time. But yeah, I just dislike the fact that it had to be Wren, especially her home state, but it is what it is. I feel like it's the part that I also don't like about it being that it's that showcasing kind of match. We also don't get to see a lot of Blake Monroe because I wish the match would have been longer. I wanted to see more from her rather than the short match we got.
Yeah. This should have been longer, it should have been more. It is what it is. Speaking of things that we could have cut for all of this, we have the Ethan Page segment. And again, I am now going to
No, the other way.
I didn't change that. Anyways. All right. So we're back to the old editorial section because fuck Canada. All right. We can go back to the normal stuff.
He said that with permission, just in case.
So yes, I did ask permission before the show to say that. Ethan Page got out a promo talking about North America, talking about how great he is, that he is both a Canadian and American, and then went ahead and revealed a brand new. Just so we're clear, I do not live in Brockton. I live in the Merrimack Valley. I do not live in Brockton. I live near Lowell. Brockton is about 30 minutes away and is considered the ghetto. I live in a suburb. Thank you very much. Ethan Page says that he shows his Canadian heritage. He talks about how great Canadians are and how much better they are. I mean, this is all full of shit from a terrible Canadian, so obviously we can believe none of the things he says. And I'm just waiting for the Overlord to pop in to just pull me out of the stream and kick me out permanently. He then reveals the gaudy monstrosity that is this. And I'm just gonna show this because this is fucking awful. No, we're not gonna mute Ed. Look at this awful monstrosity. The best part about this is that the globe of North America is covering that god-awful shit fucking leaf in the middle of this thing.
The difference of opinions.
Yes, that belt is absolutely horrid. I agree, Millie. I agree. You see, even STG, a Canadian, agrees this fucking title sucks. And then Ethan, much to Nail's pleasure, and again, most of you won't know who she is. Me and Asher know exactly who she is. She was on fucking cloud 9 because then Ethan Page started to sing the Canadian national anthem. Thankfully, yeah, exactly. Let us know how you really feel. Hey, be clear. I asked for permission to bash Canada before I did it.
Yeah,
I did not ask permission for everything I said up front of the show. But I did say it, and I did cast for this one.
I can confirm.
Thankfully, our Lord and Savior, Santino Marella, a great Italian, and sadly living in Canada now. Comes out and it interrupts the national anthem, thank God, and then challenges Ethan Page to a match.
Wait, do you mean to spell traitor that way, Bobby? Because I have questions.
Yeah, that's the one. It's Santino, not Santina. Santina is his cousin, and she is the WrestleMania 25 Women's Battle Royal Champion and the greatest diva of all time.
Ew. Because if you meant it that way, what are you trading Santina for? Because that's what you're talking about.
It's traitor, Mr. Munson. You and your wonderful Canadians who know all the great things.
I'm the bilingual one. I shouldn't be correcting you, sir.
The greatest part of all of this is I was one of a few people who actually got to see this promo in its entirety without being ruined because the CW censored the ever-living shit out of this promo.
It was the crowd.
They censored this so bad because of the crowd that I had to show Astrid the segment before we went on the air. That's why we were late, by the way.
Yes. Hey. I'm not American.
Why would we put a U in words that don't belong? Why would we put a U in there? Only the fucking idiot British put U's in their words where they don't belong.
Plus, technically, I'm not American, so don't come at me like that, sir.
This is true. No. Just so we're clear, I pretend I'm from the UK so that I can use my VPN. I would never pretend to be fucking Canadian. Although the first girl I kissed was indeed Canadian, so it is what it is. No, the Commonwealth is the state of Massachusetts. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Then we got this chat like live tonight.
Mel has just showed up and she's all of a sudden like, rude. Mel, you've missed the first hour of this show. This is kind, considering all the things I said at the beginning of the show.
Oh my goodness.
No, God no. It was way before high school. I was 10 or 11, I think. Like, kissed a girl on vacation.
Did I see you?
I love ICQ chats. Those were great. And hates the Canadian. and hates Canadians and the Brits. Yes. Anyways, Trick Williams is stumbling backstage. He runs into Oba Femi. Oba Femi looks at him and just smiles. And then Jayne comes up and she's like, "Excuse me, boys." And I do love this. And I don't know if I have this right or if I have this wrong. So it's either one or the other. Either way is perfect. She has the titles on both of her shoulders. If I remember correctly, the TNA title's on the same shoulder that Trick Williams is on, and the NXT title on the same shoulder that Oba Femi was on, and she parts the Red Sea right between them, which I thought was great. I believe we've lost Astrid again. Uh-oh. What did I come into? You're lucky Peggy isn't here. She's in a fighting mood today. Yeah, I'm surprised she's not here. Thankfully we go on past Peggy's bedtime now, so it's okay. Because Peggy moved, and now the shows go on an hour later, so Peggy's in a different time zone. So it's past Peggy's bedtime, so I get to get away with stuff like this. Until the comment section tomorrow morning. And I guarantee you I will wake up to messages on Twitter from Peggy about this. Hollywood Ash. You know, it's so hot and there's so much stuff going on in the air with storms and shit. We just got to live with it. Javon Evans is backstage with Inamura, getting ready for his match. And then we go to a Candy Crew segment with Miles and Bully Ray and the Candy Crew. And this was weird and I didn't love this.
I like how he hugged Wren, though. He's like, "You're doing great."
I wasn't sure if he was being serious or if he was being sarcastic. And I really want to know which. Because I walked away from my TV at this point, and it sounded sarcastic to me.
I'm trying to double check because I thought she was one of the people that before she went to Rose, she was in the Scene 3D school. I thought at one point.
Maybe. It's very possible. He could be very serious. The way it sounded, the way he said it, how excited he was, I haven't seen Bully Ray that excited in about 20 years. He wasn't that excited to announce that he's going to be having a title match for the TNA Tag Team titles in Lowell, Massachusetts against the Hardys in Devon Dudley's last match ever.
Is it going to be a
Did Zaruka, Lash, and Trick take a couples trip in Nashville for a couples get-up because of their outfits tonight? I mean, maybe. Trick was indeed on point with his outfit tonight. The biggest part of this segment is that we get that we're going to have Tavion Heights versus Charlie Dempsey, part 2, and Tavion is going to have to suck it up no matter what if he loses again. I think this is where we go ahead and see Tavion Heights get the big win over Charlie Dempsey and free himself from the Candy Crew. We also have Lexus King and Miles Bourne get into it. Lexus King says that Miles is lying about being deaf because he had these headphones on all night and he can hear everything. Which was just, God, was that something. God, Lexus King, you suck. We get a segment for next week where they announce one match and only one match, which is Santino versus Ethan for the North American Championship. I also have written down here that we can expect next week Jada Parker taking on Jasmine Nix and Lash Legend probably taking on Fallon Henley.
Yeah, there was a graphic at the bottom for both at one point.
Okay, but they didn't announce it here where they normally do all the matches that come next week?
No, but there was a graphic at the bottom. It was, Jada and Jasmine, Lash and Fallon.
And then I'm assuming we're also going to get Tavion versus Charlie next week as well.
Probably, yeah.
So those 4 matches are probably the things for next week. And then we have our main event. Oba Femi defeats and retains his championship after defeating Briggs and Inamura. I love this match. Something I finally enjoyed in this whole show. I love this match. I thought it was great. Oba Femi is the king of the triple threat. Oba Femi understands how these matches work. He's so good at them. I also loved the story that they were telling in the match between Briggs and Inamura. I thought that was really well done. I think it made a lot of sense. The way it wrestled, it made sense for the way that this story is going in storyline, which is sometimes rare and hard to do. But they were trying to work together while also hating each other for the exact reason of Briggs trying to help Inamura take shortcuts, or Briggs trying to take shortcuts and Inamura not being down with it. I loved so much of this match. I thought it was great. I love that Oba Femi wins. And then after the match, right at the end, we get Taker telling Javon, you don't need to worry about what's coming up next, because what's up next for you should be the same thing as it always should have been. It should be you going after the biggest dog in the yard. And I'm like, yes, because I said months and months ago, the person to dethrone Oba Femi is supposed to be Javon Evans. And it might happen in front of my face in Lowell, and I'm going to cry if it happens in Lowell. If I have to be there to watch Oba Femi lose, but I can be there to console him and make him feel all better. So it's okay. No, fuck Jay White. Jay White sucks. That's an old joke that's long since gone. Fuck Jay White. Boring ass fucking charisma vacuum of a bastard wrestling that he is.
Oh my god. I haven't heard that in so long.
What? Fuck Jay White. He sucks. The charisma vacuum that he is.
I mean, I disagree with you, but yes, I haven't heard that in a while.
No, Jay White is a fantastic in-ring wrestler, but he has zero charisma. Unless he can sit here and just yell the word fuck, he can't cut a promo to save his life. Because the best promo he's ever cut is him backstage and from the G1 just yelling fuck for about 3 minutes. Jay White is a charisma vacuum.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
See?
no. I can't believe this. Anyway, so World is Ending. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one too. The fact that we get this part with Josh Briggs is so interesting in this whole match. Pulling the referee and, be able to hitting those splashes when Inamura is close by. There was so many moments that, like, even putting Oba's foot on the rope so, like, Inamura doesn't win the title. It's like, oh my gosh, it's not how... When they started teaming up, this is not how I expected it to go. And they just see in this, I was like, dang, this is exactly what we were thinking was going to happen, like, a while ago. So I feel like they did very well with it. I figured, of course, them they're so focused on each other that in a way they'll kind of forget about Oba, and Oba will still retain at the end, so it didn't surprise me still. But yeah, it's like I feel like I had fun with it, just watching Josh finding ways to have Inamura not win that title, even though he wanted him to win it beforehand.
And Bobby, no. There are plenty of people in this company that I already trash on a pretty regular basis. It won't change if Jay White comes here.
Let's put it in the chat, Bobby, and pin it just so we can check it later.
Let's not and say we did. But that was NXT for tonight, July 22nd, 2025. It was a forgettable show, to be honest with you. You got ruined in AEW. We got the best of them. You've gotten the worst. I mean, I didn't get the worst. I don't watch AEW. I mean, Ed's firing up people. Look, Ed's not afraid of a hot take. Ed's not afraid of being wrong and saying something that he believes in his heart that may or may not be the right thing to say. I try to make sure that I'm not offensive, but I say the things I feel. I'm not afraid of a hot take. I try to tone down the bashing of companies a bit, but fuck you, STG. Anyways, that was NXT tonight. Like I said, we're on the road to Heatwave, so that'll be good. Hopefully by Bound for Glory, we can get these titles off these NXT talent and whatnot. TNA will be in Rhode Island later this week, and I can't go because I poorly planned my month and didn't realize that they were going to be here. And then they realized they announced they were going to be here, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't go now because I have stuff those weekend. So I don't get to go to the taping because I get to see Jacy Jayne live.
That should be a highlight of your night.
Probably a good thing I don't get to go. I will, however, miss a Joe Hendry concert because apparently Joe Hendry's doing a concert this set of shows. He won't bash companies, but he will. But people who subcharge him, fuck yes. I won't sell out for the money. So yes, People who give us money can still get to sell them to fuck themselves. Anyways, on to pleasanter topics. Asher Bizarro, tell the good people where we can find you this week.
Hopefully I have it correctly. This Friday we'll get the release of the I Know What You Did Last Summer movie review. So you'll kind of see Bobby's side of ranting, becoming a hater with his haterade should be ready. So he'll be pulling an ed on me when we record this review tomorrow. No, other than that, trying to remember everything else.
Slammiversary review.
Yeah, that's the other thing I posted. Yeah, it's on my channel and the OLE one, so definitely make sure to like both videos. And other than that, you can find me again next Tuesday with this one as we talk about NXT all over again. My socials, you can find me as Asher Pizarro on Twitter, in Blue Sky, and the Instagram and Threads, Asher Pizarro 20.
SCG, if you want my thoughts on Slammiversary, go back to the beginning of the show. It's the first 20 minutes.
15.
15. But it's a full 15. It's a full 15, though, let me tell you. It's a full 15.
Oh, yeah.
For anybody watching on our local establishment channels, you've seen the ticker going down below. You can please go to our YouTube channel, watch our content there. We have some great playlists where you some of the top shows that you love that you can watch. If you do watch it there, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to leave a comment on the videos, as those comments help engagement to help go ahead and promote the show to other people so we can get new fans in here to watch these shows, because we'd love to have more friends to talk to on a weekly basis about all things NXT. You can, of course, find me at all of the usual places down here. You can find me this weekend, probably Sunday, probably mid to late evening in the East, as we go ahead and talk all things Fantastic Four is finally here Thursday. I get to watch it. I'm so excited. Do you know how hard it is to avoid all the fucking spoilers on social media while trying to make sure that I'm still stay up to date for this goddamn show? Oh, it's been a fucking disaster with all the reviews going out there, but it's great. Yes, Astrid is very impressed with all the ones. Make sure that you go ahead and follow all of our wonderful friends here at our local establishment. Our good friends, I know Jose's not here anymore, but he was here earlier. Our good friends at the Mother Talking Post show had their final show of 2025. I believe it's their final show of 2025. They're taking a bit of a break now, if I heard them correctly last night. But thank you to them for all of their wonderful comment. It's fantastic. We love the Mother Talking Post show. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. It's a great show. Go watch some of the old VODs. They do a fantastic job talking about all things RuPaul's Drag Race. We got Ring Respect Radio. We got Strong Style Fashion with a new episode about, I believe it was Yohei this week from Mel. She can confirm, but I'm almost certain it was Yohei this week. So you can go ahead and check that out. You also have Noah Unleashed with episodes more than once a week, as Mel goes ahead and covers all of the happenings over there in Noah. So you can go ahead and watch that. And then, of course, we're here. You can catch all of us and all of our wonderful shit. And if you really want to, you can go check out Point of View with, Andre and Bobby, and Mark talks wrestling and football and mental health and everything. Everything that Mark does. So you can go check out all that. Remember that we got Survivor Series, SummerSlam shit coming out next week. I believe it's next weekend, not this upcoming weekend, but the one after that. I believe it's SummerSlam week, so you got all that content coming up. Yeah, see, I told them I wasn't going to be showing up for all of these shows, and the guy who makes the thumbnails keeps putting me on the thumbnail, even though I've told him I'm not going to be making shows. I will be back for the August 30th show when we do the fantasy football draft. So I'm very excited for that. If I just spoiled the fact that we're doing the football draft on that day, oops. But yeah, we're doing the fantasy football draft that day. So whoopsie, that came out. Oh, but for myself, for Asher Bizarro, thank you all for watching. We greatly appreciate it. We're going to do a raid on the Twitch side. For the rest of you, have a good night. Goodbye.
I am in misery.